family over. I have a bubble in my mouth. Sorry. So what you can do to prepare. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Lauren and I help stylists grow their brand, business, and technical skills. I give away free resources and education. So if you would like more, make sure to subscribe right now. Click the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Let's get right into it. Today I'm going to be talking about everything that you need to know before you start a studio salon. So I've been in the industry for over 5 years now. Well, probably a lot longer than 5 years now. God, I think I started in 2012, 2013, but anyways, so I've been in here for a long time now, and I'm realizing that a lot of the industry is actually moving toward people being more independent hairstylists and independent brands than working at big high-end salons. I know that when I first started in the industry, my whole goal was I wanted to do celebrity hair. I wanted to work in a big high-end salon with tons of stylists around me. Just like, that was the type of environment that I really had to look forward to. But what I'm realizing is so much has changed, and I think a lot of it is because of social media, and you can really just build a huge reputation and brand for yourself through social media. So I think that's really opened up the avenue for a lot of independent artists to kind of do their own thing. And you know, say what you want about it. Some people think that, you know, they really like the teamwork aspect. Some people really like that independent feel. I happen to be a person who really loves that independent feel, not because I don't like working with other people, but because I felt like I just had the most control over my art and over my business. And that's what I was really looking for when I started a studio salon. So if you're watching this video, you're probably considering starting a studio salon. And I'm so excited for you because honestly, this is one reason that I think my career excelled as much as it did. And I'm so excited to share with you everything you need in order to start one. So when I was first looking for a space to have my salon, I was actually thinking I was gonna have like more than one chair. I would have multiple stylists working with me. I would have a receptionist, just like a classic salon style. And I was looking for commercial spaces while I was in my studio salon, or while I was working for another salon. So as I was looking for like these bigger spaces, I was looking at around like 1,000 square feet. And, you know, kind of like street front property, stuff like that. And I realized it was so difficult to lease a space. Like, even if I had the money for it, they wanted you to sign, like, I actually started in Seattle, and they wanted me to sign like 20-year leases. It's like the industry or landlords didn't really trust our industry, because a lot of times, like, people who start salons don't last past a few years. So they want you to sign these really long lease terms. They want to make sure that you have proven, you know, proof of concept that you're going to be successful. And just starting from, you know, just working as a stylist from another salon, there was no way that I could really prove that I was going to be successful there. So I found it was very, very difficult for me to lease a space. So what I ended up doing is actually settling into doing a solo salon. And I say settle, but it actually was one of the best decisions that I ever made. But, you know, I had heard about solo salon when I was maybe just about to graduate from hair school. So about like 2012, these little studio salons started popping up, and I thought they were so adorable. But me just thinking, you know, just right out of the gate, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a huge salon. I don't need this little tiny salon. But it ended up being just the perfect situation. And now I understand why these things were built. And what was so great about them is they are a small little space, and you have everything you need to do your clientele. You have a chair, you have all the equipment, you have a sink. It is so hard to find all that stuff in a commercial space. So that is why I eventually settled on solo salon. Now, they do get kind of, you know, a bad rap because they are so expensive. But I think that if you have gone through that process of trying to find like a commercial space to put a salon in, first of all, it's hard to find a space small enough. Even if I was like looking in a major city, it was still hard to find a space small enough. And it was very hard to find one where you didn't have to do like a really large lease term. So the benefits of having a sola were just so perfect for me. Like, I only had to sign for a year. Some solas you can do month to month, which is great because maybe you move and you want to change locations and stuff. You could take your business with you. You don't have to worry about those long-term commitments. And believe me, those long-term commitments, they will hold you to them. You cannot just get out of a lease. So that's one thing I really, really liked about having a solo salon. And the startup is so easy. And that's what I wanted to explain to you today is how do you start a startup. And I am talking about Solo Salon because that is my experience. Of course, there are other salon studios available. I really like Solo Salon. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I did really like Solo Salon because I was completely independent. You may like the option of having a receptionist and things like that, or stuff just already kind of set up for you. There are other, suite salons now. There's so many different brands now. So when I got into doing a studio salon, I was like, oh my gosh, I probably need to have all these legal documents. It's gonna be so crazy, time consuming. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But actually, Solo made it pretty easy for me. They told me pretty much everything I had to have. They wanna make sure that you're operating correctly so that you're gonna last in that space. So that's one benefit of doing these kind of built out little salons. So basically, I'm gonna just go over everything you need to start up, because maybe there's some things you hadn't really thought of before. Maybe this video will help you just kind of make sure you're hitting all the bases when you're looking at starting up your salon. All right, so the first thing that you're going to want to start looking into is getting the proper licenses for having a studio salon. So it's really the same thing as having a big salon. But the first thing that you want to start looking into is getting your resale license and your operator's or business license. So depending on which city, it could be either an operator's license or business license. And you want to be careful because I ran into this problem that I moved maybe like a mile down the street and I actually had to get a whole new business license. You may think that's common sense. I just thought, hey, I'm in the same area, it's the same business, I don't need a new business license. But I was wrong. So make sure that if you move, you have to re-establish a new business license. So just Google in your city what is necessary for that city. Some cities don't require it, they require like something else. So like I said, it's either gonna be like a business license or an operator's license. You need to have one of those things. The second thing, is the reseller's license. So if you're gonna be selling any type of retail in your salon, you want to make sure that you have the resale license. So that is so that you can actually buy products tax-free, and then you can pay your taxes quarterly or at the end of the year or whatever after you've sold product. And of course, you have to make sure that you have your cosmetology license, barber license, whatever, creative license that you have in order to perform the work that you're doing. So really, those 3 licenses are the only kind of legal stuff you really need in order to operate if you're working alone.
And then one thing that I forgot to mention too is you have to have insurance. So that just makes sure that everything that you have in your salon is insured, and your Solo Salon is going to kind of prompt you to get that because it's like a requirement. So it's only about $100 a year. It's not crazy expensive, and you have to have it.
And you want to make sure to kind of look into getting these things ahead of time, because sometimes, just like with everything with the government, stuff takes forever to do. So I think that And don't think like you have to have it all perfect before you start too. No one's gonna really be checking up on it. But it is the requirement that you have to have those things. But just make sure that you start working on them ahead of time because it can take forever. I believe like when I was applying for my business license, it took maybe a month to get stuff back. I mean, it just takes forever. There's a packet you fill out and stuff. You also want to establish yourself as some type of business entity, whether it's an LLC, sole proprietorship. I would just recommend, just for the purpose of doing this, if you're just operating alone as like your own little studio, I would suggest just doing a sole proprietorship. And we could get into the details of what all that means. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and let me know in the comments and I will come up with a video for you guys about that as well. The next expense that you kind of want to pay attention to and look at before you sign a lease for a studio space is you want to take into account decorating. Now, I don't need to tell a stylist how to decorate their space. You guys are creative, you know exactly what you want. You've probably been envisioning this for a while now, exactly how you want to decorate your space. But what I would do is kind of design your space, write down everything that you're thinking of having in the space, and make sure you take into account everything that's already there too. A lot of these salon suites actually come equipped with a lot of storage, so you may not need to buy things that are more on the storage side. You may just need things more to like display your retail, or maybe some new lighting. Sometimes they don't have the best lighting in those spaces, especially if you don't have a window space. So you want to make sure that you are just planning out your expenses for decorating and just making the space give you a really nice workflow and just great environment for both you and your clients. So the next thing that you're going to want to think about is the equipment that you're going to need to operate your business. So Like I said earlier, the suites, if you get one of those kind of established suites, they already come with like the heavy duty equipment that you need, like the sink, the chair, storage, things like that, all the really important stuff. But you're just gonna wanna think of, maybe you need a heater for like your color services, or maybe you need a way for people to pay. You are definitely gonna need a way for people to pay. I started by just using the payment system on Vagaro, which is my booking system, so it was just all kind of seamless through that. However, I eventually switched to some different operating system for my booking, so I ended up just using Square. Square is a little bit on the expensive side for taking payment, but it's just so easy to use and just so quick, so fast, and so safe for both the consumer and the retailer that I just really enjoyed using it. And then I used a different system for booking, but it all kind of integrated very seamlessly. And that brings me to my next point. You're going to need a way for people to book. And my favorite booking system, I tried so many, I did so much research, and my favorite one actually was not even created for salons at all. It was called Acuity. There were so many different aspects about this booking system that I just absolutely loved. And I came from Vagaro, and I came from, Stylist. I tried the Square app as well. I've tried all of those things, and this actually, what was that other? Oh yeah, MindBody. I tried MindBody. It's so expensive, and it still didn't have the features that Acuity had that I was really, really looking for. So I could do a separate video on that if you guys are interested in that as well, but I am such a big fan of Acuity for booking systems. So the next thing you're gonna need is retail products and back bar. So I found it actually pretty difficult to find a good professional brand that would actually sell to me, because at least when I started, not a lot of really big, amazing brands that I was in love with were willing to sell small quantities. So it would either be very, very expensive, or if I didn't sell enough products, I wouldn't actually be able to carry that line anymore. So the product that I actually came across that I absolutely love, and to this day, I still love it, and I was so stoked that they were willing to sell to a small company like me, was Davines. So I just basically had to research in my area how to get a Davines rep. So in order to get retail, the best thing to do is really to just find a rep, because you can get better deals and professional discounts obviously on the products so that you can sell them for retail than if you were just to go into a store like Cosmoprof. And it's just a little bit more exclusive too. You want to make sure that your products are more exclusive to just you, so that people don't have like a friend who's a stylist that can go get them stuff from Cosmoprof or Salon Centric. So Davines is one of those brands that kind of hit all those key points for me, and they're also just an amazing brand. Everything, I could just rely on them for everything, every different type of hair type. The smell was so subtle, so it didn't turn people off at all. It was just an all over really good, healthy, minimalist brand, and I just absolutely enjoyed it. So how do you find a product rep? Well, it turns out once you start a studio salon, so if you're in one of those little studio salon suites that are pre-built, like A Salon, a lot of times product reps are constantly coming around, and it's actually pretty annoying for the most part, but then you also might find somebody that you actually really need. So that's how I found my Davines rep, and no, she was not annoying. I actually really enjoyed her. She was very just not pushy or anything, so that made me just more open to it and open to what she had to say. But basically she works for a company that sells multiple brands. So in Seattle, the company that I looked at, it was called Salon Services. So when I moved back down to California, the company that I had to go through to find a product rep, who I absolutely loved as well, was Bassett Salon Solutions, I think it was. I think that's what it was called, Bassett, or just Bassett Solutions. I don't know. It was Bassett. So you can look it up on the internet, and they will connect you with a product rep, and that's how you're going to be able to establish that brand in your salon, and you'll be able to sell retail. So the next thing that you're going to want to think about is selecting a start date. So before I signed my lease, I had a start date in mind. I wanted to make sure that I gave myself about 2 weeks to get established. And it sounds like a lot of time, but actually there's so many things that kind of go into getting it started that I kind of wanted to have everything ready and not be just blindsided by just thinking of something I needed at the last minute and then I didn't have it because I didn't have enough time. So I gave myself about 2 weeks to get set up. So in that time, I was ordering equipment. Some of the equipment wasn't working, so you have to plan for that. I'd have to send it back, get another piece of equipment. I think I had that problem with like my heater lamp for color. It wasn't working, and I was totally panicked because, oh my God, I have to have it all set up perfectly. But that 2 week window kind of gave me some time to make sure I got all that stuff figured out ahead of time. It also gave me time to kind of work on a few people and just kind of get an idea of my workflow and how everything should be situated so that I can, you know, work as smoothly as possible and it wasn't just like fumbling around. Because I don't know about you, but when I am in another workspace, like when I'm doing, you know, hair at somebody's house or I'm doing hair at somebody else's salon or something, I'm always just like so weird about like where stuff is, and I feel like a bumbling idiot when stuff isn't like exactly where I'm used to it being. So that 2-week period also helped me just kind of get used to my workflow and setup for that new space that I was in. So what you can do to prepare is just invite a couple of friends and family over, have some drinks, listen to music, and just have fun and no pressure, just getting used to your new space. So it's not on a client where you feel like you have this pressure to perform and do it perfectly. It's just your friends and family, and you're just kind of allowing them to come get excited with you and just enjoy your new space. I also have a little bonus tip for you guys. One thing that I just learned from experience is don't think that you have to have everything exactly perfect before you get started. I know, like, I am such a perfectionist and I wanted everything to be perfect, and I think a lot of stylists, you're probably that way too. But it's not necessary to have everything exactly perfect because your clients actually really love to see you grow and evolve. So I noticed that like maybe my paint wasn't perfect, or I didn't have all the decorations that I actually wanted because I was just starting up. I didn't want to spend all of my money just right out of the gate. So don't think that just because things aren't exactly perfect or exactly the way you envisioned it, if you're still working towards something, it's not a big deal. Clients actually love being a part of that, and you are not going to be judged for it. I think I was so worried because I was doing such a big thing by leaving my salon and just starting on my own after maybe being on the floor for a year, that I thought everyone was going to judge me and that, you know, people were going to think that, you know, I was not qualified to be doing this. You absolutely are, if you're just prepared to do it. So don't think every little thing has to be in place. So I have a question for you. Why did you decide to start a studio salon? Or are you still on the fence about starting one? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you have recently started a studio salon and there's a few things that maybe I forgot or that maybe you thought were helpful to when you were starting your studio salon, let me know in the comments, and that way other people watching can see those tips as well. So if you're a serious stylist looking to just kind of grow your career quickly out of the gate, learn as much as you possibly can, I have a lot of resources for you guys down in the description below, including my Color Academy and also some free resources down there as well. So make sure to go ahead and check it out. It's really going to be helpful for you. If you want to learn how I became a 6-figure hairstylist in just 1 year, click here. If you want to learn how I became completely booked in a studio salon in just 3 months, click here. Thanks for checking out this video, you guys. If you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe, like this video, share this video with your friends so that you can help somebody else who is starting a studio salon. And if you want more free resources, check out those links in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.